What if I told you that everything you see around you, the sun, the moon, the stars, even time itself, will one day be completely annihilated? That nothing will remain except the face of Allah. Welcome back to Epic Ummah, where we dive deep into Islamic knowledge that'll transform how you see the world. Today, we're exploring one of the most profound theological concepts from the classical Islamic tradition, the annihilation of everything except Allah, and the ultimate proof of his eternal existence. Ever wonder what everything perishes but his face really means when you read it in the Quran? Picture yourself standing in the vast Arabian desert at night, 1,000 years ago. The stars above seem eternal, unchanging, like they've always been there and always will be. The moon casts its silver light across the dunes, and you can almost feel the weight of eternity in that silence. But here's what the scholars understood that most people missed. When Allah says in the Quran, "Everyone on it is annihilated, but the face of your Lord, majestic and venerable, remains," and "There is no God but He, everything perishes but His face," he's not just talking about people dying, he's talking about everything. Think about it. The sun that seems so permanent, so reliable, rising every morning, setting every evening. The Quran tells us, when the sun shall be rolled up, meaning its light will be gone completely, not dimmed, not eclipsed, gone. That blazing ball of fire that's been burning for billions of years, it'll be extinguished like a candle in the wind. And it's not just Muslims who understood this. Jews, Christians, even the Zoroastrians, they all acknowledged that this world isn't permanent. The only ones who denied it were those who refused to believe in the oneness of God. But here's the beautiful part. While everything else perishes, those who believed, they'll be resurrected. They'll be brought back to life by the same God who created them in the first place. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to put everything in perspective. When you realize that only Allah is truly eternal, everything else becomes, well, temporary. Your problems, your worries, even your successes, they're all just moments in time. But wait, how do we even know God exists in the first place? Here's a mind-bending question. Can you imagine anything in this world that isn't either a body or something attached to a body? Let me take you into the mind of a medieval Islamic philosopher. Picture him in his study, surrounded by manuscripts, the smell of ink and parchment filling the air. He's wrestling with the biggest question of all. How do we prove God exists? He starts with something simple. Look around you. Everything you can observe is either a physical body or something that exists within a physical body. Your thoughts, they exist in your brain. Colors, they exist on surfaces. Even abstract concepts like love or justice, they manifest through physical beings. Now here's where it gets interesting. Every body you see can either be separate from other things or connected to them. Your hand can be separate from a table, or you can place it on the table and connect them. But here's the key insight that hit him like lightning. Every single thing can be imagined differently than it currently is. Think about a wall. Right now it's one solid piece, but you can imagine it being broken into separate bricks. Think about those separate bricks. You can imagine them being put back together into a wall. Everything in this world is constantly changing from separated to connected, from connected to separated. But wait, if everything is constantly changing, constantly being put together and taken apart, then something or someone must be doing the putting together and taking apart. And here's the crucial part. Whoever is doing this connecting and separating can't be subject to the same rules. They can't be something that can be connected or separated themselves. The scholar sets down his pen, his hand trembling slightly. He's just proven that there must be a creator who is completely different from everything else. One who has power over everything, but isn't limited by the physical laws that govern everything else. This isn't just ancient philosophy. It's a logical proof that still holds today. Every time you see something change, something move, something come together or fall apart, you're witnessing evidence of the one who orchestrates it all. But if God is so powerful, why couldn't there be two gods working together? What would happen if two all-powerful beings tried to run the universe together? Imagine you're watching the most perfectly choreographed performance you've ever seen. Every star in its orbit, every tide at the perfect time, every heartbeat in perfect rhythm. The universe runs like clockwork, seamless, continuous, perfectly administered. Now picture two directors trying to run this show. What would happen? The medieval scholars painted this scenario brilliantly. They said, look, if there were two gods, they'd either have to agree on everything or disagree on some things. If they agree on everything, Well, then they're basically the same being, aren't they? Calling them two is just playing with words. It's like saying the one is two, which is absurd. But if they disagree, that's where things get catastrophic. Picture this. One God wants to give life to something. The other wants to cause death. One wants to create. The other wants to destroy. It would be like having fire trying to warm something, while ice is trying to cool the same thing at the same time. The Quran captures this perfectly. If there were other gods except God in heaven and earth, both would be ruined. Think about it. If you had competing cosmic forces, nothing could exist in the perfection and continuity that we see around us. And here's another angle that'll blow your mind. If there were two gods, each would have to be either strong enough to overpower the other, or too weak to do so. If both are weak, then neither one is really a god. If both are strong enough to overpower each other, well, that's a contradiction. And if one can overpower the other, then the weaker one isn't really a god either. The scholar leans back in his chair, almost laughing at the absurdity of it all. The very idea of multiple gods destroys itself through simple logic. The perfect order you see around you, from the beating of your heart to the rotation of galaxies, is evidence of one unified will, one perfect administrator. The universe itself testifies to the oneness of its creator. So we've established that Allah is one and eternal. But what about those who dare to ask the ultimate question? What do you do when someone asks you, if God created everything, who created God? Picture Abu Huraira, one of the Prophet's closest companions, sitting with a group of people. The desert sun is beating down and someone poses the question that makes everyone uncomfortable. God created everything, but who created him? Abu Huraira's reaction is immediate and powerful. Allahu Akbar, he exclaims. God is great, but then he does something interesting. He doesn't dive into a philosophical debate. Instead, he shares what the Prophet himself had warned about. The Prophet had said, after my death, you all will be asked about everything, to the extent that someone might even say, God created everything, but who created him? He knew this question would come. He knew people would struggle with it. But here's Abu Huraira's beautiful response. My friend, meaning the Prophet, did not tell me anything unless I saw him and was looking at him. In other words, he's saying, I only share what I directly learned from the Prophet. And this wasn't one of those teachings. Then comes the practical advice that cuts through all the confusion. If people ask you about that, say, God is the creator of everything. God is the one who was before everything, and God will be after everything. You can almost see Abu Huraira's gentle smile as he redirects the conversation. He's not shutting down inquiry. He's pointing to the real answer. The question, who created God, assumes that God is like everything else in creation, subject to the same rules of being created. But that's exactly what we've just proven is impossible. Some questions are traps disguised as wisdom. When someone asks who created God, they're trying to apply the rules of creation to the Creator himself. It's like asking, what color is the number 7? The question itself doesn't make sense. And this brings us to the ultimate truth that changes everything. What existed before time itself began? Close your eyes and try to imagine absolute nothingness. No time, not even a moment or a second. No space, no up, no down, no here, no there. No light, except the light of Allah's noble face. No darkness, no sun, no moon, no stars. No heaven, no earth. Nothing but Allah. This is where our journey through logic and proof leads us. The scholars concluded that Allah existed when there was no momentary time, no extended time. Time itself hadn't been created yet. He existed before existence itself. Think about that for a moment. We're so used to thinking of everything in terms of before and after, but Allah exists outside of time, completely. He's not just the first. He's before the very concept of first made sense. He's not just the last. He'll be there after the concept of last becomes meaningless. And here's what makes this so beautiful. He created everything without needing any help. No associate, no helper, no assistant. Just his pure will, bringing everything into existence from absolute nothingness. The same Allah who created the smallest particle also created the largest galaxy, and he did it all alone. Picture the moment of creation, not as an explosion or a big bang, but as the will of Allah saying, be, and everything coming into existence perfectly, purposefully, beautifully. Every law of physics, every mathematical constant, every condition necessary for life, all of it, designed by the one who exists beyond all of it. The medieval scholar sets down his pen one final time, overwhelmed by the magnitude of what he's just reasoned through. He's proven not just that God exists, but that he must be one, that he must be eternal, that he must be completely unlike anything in creation. When you truly grasp that Allah existed before everything and will exist after everything, it changes how you see every moment of your life. You're not just living in a random universe. You're part of a deliberate creation by the one who is truly eternal. So what does all this mean for you and me today? Everything around you, your phone, your room, even the stars you see at night, they're all temporary. They all had a beginning, and they'll all have an end. But the one who created them, he's eternal, unchanging, perfect. The next time you look at the world around you, remember, you're not just seeing random matter floating in space. You're seeing the handiwork of the one who existed before time, who will exist after time, and who chose to create you for a purpose. If this changed how you see Allah's power and majesty, smash that like button and subscribe for more content that'll deepen your understanding of Islamic wisdom. And drop a comment. Which part of this proof hits you the hardest? Your like fuels our mission, your share spreads prophetic wisdom, and your subscribe builds a fortress for Islamic truth. Keep seeking knowledge and remember, La ilaha illallah. Help us rebuild what the world tries to erase. Thanks for watching, and keep exploring. Until next time, Salamu alaikum.